Today, I'm gonna show you how to turn this into some of the most delicious canned chicken you'll ever try. Hey everyone, welcome back to Heartway Farms. I'm so glad you're here with me today. I'm Annie, and if you are new here, please hit that subscribe button. We cover topics like canning and stocking up, homesteading, family, all of the things. So stick around, we'd love to have you be a part of the family. But today we are talking about chicken and putting it in a can, right? It should be simple, and really it is. There's just a few steps, but it's easy and you can do it. And I will tell you, it is delicious and it's so awesome to go down to your pantry or root cellar or whatever you have and go have an easy dinner plan, right? And that's how we use our homegrown chicken. So for us here on the farm, we raise our own meat birds every year. And when that happens, we process like usually 80 to 100 birds at a time. So I can't process all of those and turn them into canned chicken all that day. So what we do is we freeze them so that when days like today, when it's raining and really, really hot, it's a perfect day to have a chicken canning day. And that's what today is. And today I'm gonna show you from start to finish how simple it is for you to put up chicken meat for your family. So let's get started. First, I wanna go over the different things that you need for this process. The star of the show today, of course, is our chicken. And today I'm going to go ahead and pressure cook 5 of our chickens and see how much chicken I get once I shred it up. So we need our chickens. We are gonna be doing our pressure canning inside of our Presto digital canner, one of my favorites, and it has been a game changer for my family. I don't think you'll be disappointed if you give it a shot. So we need vinegar, water, you need trivets for your pressure cookers, like your Instapot. We need some canning lids, canning rings, some sanitized jars. And today I'm gonna be originally cooking my chicken because I'm not doing the raw pack method. This is a pre-cooked shredded chicken and it's so good and so easy. So I'm going to be using 2 Instapots to cook my chicken quickly. And the best part of that is I can cook them from frozen. But if you do not have an Instapot, it is no big deal. You can get a big roaster pan and roast up several chickens at a time in your oven or in a crock pot. Whatever you have, you can make it work. So don't feel like you have to go invest in an Instapot. This was a birthday gift several years ago from my parents, and then this was gifted to me from my sister. So between the two of them, it's such a blessing because I get to use them and double my productivity when I'm doing this type of canning. All right, so let's dive in. Hey friends, if you like canning and preserving as much as we do, we have created a free printable PDF that will teach you how to can up chicken at home. The link is down in the description. And if you want to keep learning, make sure you hit that subscribe button. All right, back to the video. So I'm gonna go ahead and take off the lids off of my Instapots here. Today, because I'm sharing this with all of you, I have taken over my whole table. But if I was just doing this, because when I start, I usually do this for several days while I have all my stuff out to make a dent in my chicken supply in my root cellar. So because I took over my table, it obviously looks like it takes up a lot of space, but usually I put these on the floor in the corner so they're out of the way and we just let them cook. So I'm gonna go ahead and put my frozen chickens in here. I usually only put 1 chicken per pot, but I'm gonna see, I may be able to fit 2 of these smaller guys, but in my smaller Instapot, I definitely can only fit 1. I just love that I don't even have to consider like defrosting the chicken first. Okay, trivet goes in the bottom, otherwise you will have a burning issue, possibly. All right, I'm gonna take my whole chicken for this, and I'm gonna just put this in here. For this part too, I'm not gonna season with anything. All I need to do is put a little bit of water in the bottom of my Instapot, just so that I don't have any burning. The chicken will produce its own juice, so that happens pretty quickly, but I need a couple cups of water in the bottom to prevent any kind of burning. All right, and then I'm gonna put the lid on and I'll do the same thing over here. Okay, so I have my chicken, my first 2 chickens going, 1 each in each Instapot. I set them both for 1 hour on high pressure, sealed, not on venting. If it was on venting, you're gonna see lots of steam coming out the whole time. But if it's on sealed, at the beginning, there'll be a little bit of steam, but then that will seal, and then that pressure cooking will begin. And it just quickly cooks that chicken all the way through while keeping a lot of the moisture in that. So I've got these set for an hour, and this is the best part. Now I can go get a few other things done, and then I'll come check back in with you when they're all cooked up. Okay, so both of my chickens and Instapots have been cooking for 1 hour each, and they just got done, and I went ahead and manually released the pressure. So you need to be very careful when you do that. You make sure there's nothing above here that can't handle steam, and then we like to put a towel over the top and then switch it from the sealed position to the venting position, and I did that manually. You can absolutely let it depressurize itself, but that takes another 15, sometimes 20 minutes. It just depends. So this one is still going, as you can see. And currently, here, I want to show you something for safety. Currently, you can see my little pressure gauge here is still up. I'm not going to open this until this lays flat and goes all the way down to make sure that all of my steam is out. I know that sometimes Instapots and pressure canners make people nervous, but as long as you follow some procedures, you should not have any issue with it. So my little red gauge here went down, showing that the pressure is completely down. I can wiggle things just to make sure that everything's secure. This one doesn't have that little trick, the little red gauge, but I can hear that there's, that it's fully released from all that pressure. So what I like to do now that these are done, I'm gonna open up my Instapots. Everything is gonna be very hot, as you can see. And I'm gonna set this down up here. And again, I love that I was able to set this and then go do other things. My timer just went off in the kitchen for banana bread, and we've got cookies going in the oven. So it's so nice to be able to get these things cooking and then get everything else done. So now what I like to do when I am canning chicken, and Julianne likes to do this too because we tag team this, and a lot of the times she's the one canning, but today it's my job. We like to get all of our chickens cooked first, set them aside, let them cool, shred them, and then go ahead and can them up and then put them in the canner. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do today. The same steps that we did earlier. First I'm gonna pull these super hot chickens out, and I'm gonna set them. They're gonna fall apart because that's how cooked they are. I'm gonna set them in this nice Tupperware here to cool. And if there's a little bit left in the bottom, it's totally fine. I'm gonna keep all of the liquid in here as well for the next chickens, the frozen chickens, to cook in. So I'm gonna go ahead and get out all of my cooked chicken, add in my next batch of frozen chickens, set them an hour, and just continue to repeat until all 5 of my chickens are cooked and ready to get canned up. My second batch is done. I was able to fit 1 whole chicken in my small Instapot, but this time I was able to fit 2 because these 2 chickens were just around 4-pounders, which is great. So I've got all my chicken done. I'm gonna transfer the hot chicken to my cooling Tupperware, and then we're gonna let it cool 100%, and then we're gonna shred it and start the canning process. For the canning process, I'm gonna use hot boiled water. I'm not actually gonna use this broth. My favorite thing to do is to strain this and to make up something with it, not to waste it. Whether you're making chicken noodle soup or making a stew of some kind, we're gonna keep this and use this later. But let's go ahead and get these chickens out and begin the cooling process. So our chicken was completely cool and ready to be pulled off the bone, and I called in the troops and had Juliana Marie help me, and it only took us about 10 minutes or less to get this stripped off of the bone and ready to be put in the jars. I have my jars clean, sanitized, and ready to go, along with my rings and my lids. And so I'm gonna go ahead and fill up each jar and then top it off with a teaspoon of salt and boiling water. Okay, I'm gonna fill it up to right here, okay, to have enough headspace here. Let all of this be open for headspace. Let's get this done. So those 5 chickens filled 4 quart jars. I know that seems crazy, but it's amazing how much you can fit in these things. I have said this before in previous videos, and it really is true. It is rare where if we're making a soup or a casserole or anything like that, where I use an entire jar. Usually because there's so much in here, I'm able to split this between 2 meals. The only time that maybe doesn't work if you're eating it like for tacos, like chicken tacos, because doesn't have any filler ingredients, right? So then I'll use a whole can. But for our family of 8, 1 can feeds everybody with chicken tacos. I don't know how it's possible, but it like expands. I don't know what happens, but it's plenty. So anyway, I'm excited about this. This is enough to put into the Presto digital canner, and we're gonna do that right now. So let's come over to the Presto. You absolutely can do this on your stovetop All-American, your stovetop Presto, whatever you have, that's fine too. We are so spoiled with our Presto digital canner. And I wanna say something about Presto and their customer service, because you never know until you deal with it. So it's good to share these things when something good happens. Last year, at the end of canning season, right at the end, and thank the Lord it was at the end of canning season, my Presto threw up an error code. I don't remember which code it was right now, but I called them up and they paid for me to ship it to them, and they shipped it back to me, fixed, completely fixed. Wonderful customer service, friendly, excellent communication. I was very happy. So I will continue to sing the praises of the Presto digital canner. It's been an amazing benefit and blessing to my family. So we're gonna go ahead and take this off. As you can see, it's empty. It comes with its own trivet in the bottom. And when you are pressure canning, we're just coming here down to this bottom line, okay? Because the water level is gonna continue to rise as soon as I add all of these jars to it. So I've got some water here. We're gonna go ahead and put that in. Okay. And then for those of you who have any type of hard water at all, and even if you don't, if you want to make sure that you don't ever get a white film around the outside of your canning jars, when they go through the process, it's just what happens. And I don't like that. It's no big deal, but I just like my jars to come out looking clean and going into storage clean. You add a little bit of white vinegar, let's say about, I don't know, probably just 2 tablespoons, give or take, just to make sure that you cut any hard water that's in your water that would leave a film or residue of hard water onto your jars. Okay, and then because my jars are hot, because they have boiling water in them, and I also, because they are hot, I wanted to make sure to use warm water in here. I don't want to put super hot boiling water into cold water, right? So I'm going to set them in here. So those are in there, and we're gonna go ahead and lid it. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and put the lid on, make sure it's in the locked position, and we're going to seal this up on this side here. And then I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna step around here and I'll show you guys the screen of what we're gonna do. So with the Presto canner, as soon as you plug it in, you have the option of either a pressure can or boiling water can. We're gonna start with pressure can, okay? And here's where you set your time at the beginning. And for chicken, we're gonna do 90 minutes on pressure can, okay? And here's where you hit the play button again. Now, I'm going to skip this step because I already sanitized my jars and my lids and my rings. So I can kind of just go ahead and, I already filled it. This is just a little hack for all of you. I'm not sure that they recommend doing this, but I've had no issue whatsoever. So let's say you didn't want to sanitize your jars, you wait to fill them until after this step, but I did it separately, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and hit the play button. Okay, and I can't show you anything else right now, but it will continue to prompt you. You start on vent, and the beautiful thing when you get the Presto canner is that it comes with very specific instructions. Like, it takes you step by step, whether you start on vent or you start on can or you leave it on vent the whole time, or it will prompt you when to switch it to vent or to can, right? So it gives you step-by-step instructions, and it lays it out beautifully, which especially for a beginner, I know this is an expensive investment, but it is almost foolproof, okay? So we're really happy with the Presto. And sometimes we'll be in the heat of canning and we will have the stovetop pressure canner going and the Presto canner going. So this is gonna continue to take me through the process, and I will continue to follow the prompts. It's that easy. It lays it out for me, but I have a whole 90 minutes, again, just with having one ear on the canner to go do all of the other things that I need to do and come back to this when the time is ready. So let's let the canning begin. Okay, our batch of our canned chicken is all done, and just like with anything else, even though I'm looking at this and it tells me that it's completely cool and done, which the Presto takes you through a whole cooling process, I still am going to follow some safety protocols, and I'm going to turn my regulator to vent, because if there was pressure stuck in there still, it would come out, right? And then of course, then I'll open this up, and there's another hole right here, which I know you guys can't see, where more steam would vent out if there was an issue. And then of course you'll open away from your face and see all that steam, right? All right, we're gonna put these here to cool completely to make sure that we get a real good seal. We're not gonna tip them. So our chicken is done, and these 4 jars easily mean between like 6 to 8 meals for my family. Even though that seems impossible, it's just how it works out, especially when you're making those casseroles in bigger dishes, soups and stews and stuff like that. So I'm really excited to put these things down in the root cellar and continue to build up my stockpile in the root cellar to get us through the next whole year, because that's always the goal, 1 year of food stocked up for us to be able to put together nutritious, healthy, amazing food for the whole family. Make sure you check out 4 Jars lids. I've had great success with my canning experiences with them. I was reading a comment the other day that someone, only ever bought Ball. I have nothing against Ball. I think they're an amazing company as well, but I'm really grateful for companies like 4 Jars that not only is it a family-owned and run business, but they're good people and they produce an amazing product that works. So I'm really happy with them. Again, used them today, and you should check out the link below if you want to get a discount. And thank you all for coming along with me today. Make sure you hit subscribe, and we'll talk to y'all soon.